Yesterday we started Gibbs free energy, and that Gibbs free energy is defined as delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. That was introduced to explain the spontaneity of the process. If delta Z is negative, that is less than 0, the system is spontaneous. If it is positive, it is non-spontaneous. If delta G is equal to 0, the system is at equilibrium. These are the conditions. Okay, so a tabular form already we completed yesterday's topic. That is, when a system is going to be spontaneous or non-spontaneous at a particular temperature, either high temperature or low temperature, so different conditions are completed. Okay, just delta Z, that is Gibbs change in energy, is introduced to explain the spontaneity of the process, because delta S, delta H, delta E are not sufficient to explain that concept. Spontaneous means which is taking on its own. Any irreversible process is spontaneous. Any irreversible process, either it is fast, slow, or moderate, whatever it may be, that is spontaneous. If it is spontaneous, automatically delta G should be negative. If delta G should be negative, automatically that should be spontaneous. So both vice versa is acceptable cases. Okay, so that is about our Gibbs free energy. So by using the Gibbs free energy, there are a lot of derivations are there. All those are not in our syllabus. Just you can memorize. So remember these points. That's enough for you. So these are, see here. So at equilibrium, delta Z is equal to 0, my dear boys. At equilibrium, so these are the conditions. Delta Z is equal to 0, but not delta Z naught. What is delta Z and what is delta Z naught? Whenever a term naught is introduced, delta Z naught means it is change in Gibbs energy. At standard conditions. At standard conditions. Sir, what are the standard conditions? So change in, so it is standard as not indicates a standard condition. So delta Z naught. So it is a change in Gibbs energy. It is a standard change in Gibbs energy. Standard change in Gibbs energy. Okay. So what is the standard condition? Standard conditions are nothing but, so temperature, which is equal to 25 plus 273, any room temperature, that is 298 Kelvin. Pressure is equal to 1 atmosphere. This temperature and pressure are considered as standard conditions. The change in entropy is measured at that condition. At those conditions, is considered as standard change in process. If it is entropy change, that is standard entropy change. If it is enthalpy change, that is standard enthalpy change. So whatever it may be, any property that can measure at these conditions, at this temperature and pressure, those values are called as standard conditions. That is indicated with the letter dot, not, delta naught. Okay, therefore it is at any other temperature and pressure, but these are at that temperature and pressure. Okay, so it is delta Z is equal to 0, delta Z naught, that is the standard value, standard change in Gibbs energy is not equal to 0 at equilibrium. Okay, next, for an equilibrium, delta Z is equal to, it is important, delta Z is equal to delta Z naught plus RT ln Q. It is for a reversible reaction. For a reversible reaction, delta Z is equal to delta Z naught plus RT ln Q. Reversible means A gives B, at the same time B also gives A. So this situation is called as a reversible situation. For this type of reversible reaction, this much. applicable. At equilibrium means rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction in a reversible reaction. In a reversible reaction, so rate of forward reaction, the rate of formation of B is equal to rate of formation of A. In a reversible reaction, this condition is not hold good. So both these rates are not equal, that is called as a reversible reaction. If those rates, forward and backward reaction rates are equal, that particular state is called as equilibrium state. Rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction, that is equilibrium. At equilibrium, this is Q is nothing but reaction quotient. So I will explain in ionic equilibrium or chemical equilibrium. Please wait. So reaction quotient Q. So that is for a particular reversible reaction. So because the reversible reaction is now called as equilibrium, that reaction quotient is called as equilibrium constant. Here Q is the reaction quotient. KEQ is the equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant. K equilibrium means equilibrium constant. Reaction quotient is equal to equilibrium constant. Therefore, so at equilibrium already we know, so delta Z is equal to 0. That is, this term is equal to 0. So therefore, delta Z naught is equal to minus RT ln Q is replaced with EQ and it is for equilibrium. So please try to mind it. All these are memory based. Once again, I am telling to you, my boys. So try to by heart. Try to remember this point. So for an equilibrium, delta Z naught is equal to minus RT ln K equilibrium constant. So to convert this ln term into LOG terms, so the same formula is equal to delta Z naught is equal to minus, so ln is replaced with LOG 2.303 minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium. This is also acceptable. Delta Z naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium. So that is here base E, my dear boys. It is a base 10. It is base 10, it is base E. That is the difference. So to convert that base E terms into base 10, so multiply the value with 2.303. So therefore, delta Z naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium. Number of times, most important bit in it. Number of problems will appear in your equilibrium concept. So this is the formula. So standard change in Gibbs energy, not I am using here. Standard change in Gibbs energy is equal to, so minus 2.303 RT log equilibrium constant. Okay, so that is one way. Next one. For a galvanic cell means, so our rechargeable battery cell, that is our simply called as our cell phone battery cell. Charging and discharging takes place. For those cell phone batteries, so some potential difference is there. So that E is indicated with, is related with delta Z naught. Delta Z naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell. So delta Z naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell. This E naught cell is nothing but EMF of the cell. Galvanic cell. That E naught cell is equal to EMF of the galvanic cell. So EMF of the galvanic cell, that is, it is E naught, it is not. Both these are not at standard conditions. So this EM is measured at this temperature and pressure is called as standard EMF of the cell, that is E naught cell. So this is delta Z naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell. This is also most important problem, my dear boys. So most important formula. Number of problems are there based on that concept. Okay, so delta Z naught is equal to minus RT, minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium. Delta Z naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell. And it is for galvanic cell, it is for a reversible reaction. It is for a reversible reaction. Next point, that is, see here. I think today there is a problem on this one. F represents S, Faraday. F represents Faraday. Faraday means 96,500 coulombs. Faraday means 96,500 coulombs. At the time of 1 mole, the mole concept, I explained that concept. 1 Faraday, that is 96,500 coulombs. M is the number of moles, boys. Number of moles. N is equal to number of moles, F is equal to Faraday, which is equal to 96,500 coulombs. E naught is the EMF of the galvanic cell. S electrochemical cell, galvanic cell. So that is we will explain in electrochemistry in your second year. Okay. So next one. So we know delta Z is equal to delta H minus delta T delta S. So I am clearing up to now. See here. So this is our standard statement. Delta Z is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Okay. So delta Z is equal to delta H minus T delta S. At equilibrium, delta Z is equal to 0. At equilibrium, delta Z is equal to 0. Bismarck, please wait, I will explain. At equilibrium, delta Z is equal to 0. So therefore, this fraction is going to be 0. Therefore, delta Z is equal to delta H minus T delta S. At equilibrium, delta Z is equal to 0. This is the condition for equilibrium. Therefore, delta H is equal to T delta S. So I want to calculate equilibrium temperature at which the condition is applicable. Therefore, T at equilibrium is equal to delta H by delta S. I think today there is a problem on this formula. Am I correct, boys? Today in your daily exam, there is a problem on this formula. Yes. So calculate equilibrium temperature. Calculate equilibrium temperature. So this is the formula. It is a change in enthalpy. It is change in entropy. Yes. It is a change in enthalpy. It is change in entropy. Okay. So after completion of this today's class, please resolve today's and yesterday's paper once again. After completion of today's class, please resolve today and yesterday's paper once again. Okay, my dear boys? Because some points will cover to, I'm covering today, not yesterday. Okay. Next one. This is important one. This is also important. It is a temperature, equilibrium temperature. It is a formula required to calculate equilibrium temperature. Next and most important. See here. We know, I am deriving once again, delta Z naught is equal to minus RT ln K equilibrium. Already just now I completed. And also delta Z naught is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. So these two are for equilibrium. Equilibrium cases. So LHS are equal for a reaction. LHS are equal, automatically I am equalizing RHS case. Therefore, minus RT ln K equilibrium is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. Delta H naught minus T delta S naught. So now, readjusting the concepts. So minus, so ln K equilibrium is equal to, multiplying with minus, so that is T delta S naught minus delta H naught divided with RT by RT by RT. By RT by RT. Okay. So now T and T get cancelled. Therefore, finally we have okay. ln K equilibrium is equal to delta S naught minus R minus delta H naught by R into 1 by T. Into 1 by T. This is the relation. Now I convert this ln into LOG. So this ln is converted into LOG just by multiplying the value 2.303. Okay. So therefore that implies log K equilibrium is equal to delta S naught by 2.303 R minus delta H naught by 2.303 R into 1 by T. It is the important relation, boys. There is one problem today on this formula. It is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c format. If you draw a graph between log equilibrium constant versus 1 by t, so see here, I am trying to draw a graph on y-axis. So in y place, what is that? Log K equilibrium. On y-axis, I am using log equilibrium constant. On x-axis, this is x term, this is y term. On x-axis, I am taking 1 by t. On x-axis, I am taking 1 by t. That gives a straight line with negative slope. M is nothing but slope. This is the slope value. Okay. So with the negative slope, that is a straight line because y is equal to mx plus c is a straight line formula. Not passing through the origin. Not passing through the origin. Not passing through the origin and cuts the y-axis. Cuts the y-axis, which is nothing but intercept. Some intercept is there. Okay, this C is the y-intercept. This is nothing but y-intercept, which is nothing but y-intercept. Therefore, with the negative slope, this is a line like this, and with the negative slope, the line like that. If you draw a graph between log K equilibrium versus 1 by t, so that has a negative slope. That slope is equal to, here slope is equal to negative. The value is equal to m value, that is delta H naught by 2.303 R. That is the slope value, and it cuts the y-axis at one point. Okay, this is nothing but y-intercept value. That intercept value is equal to delta S naught by 2.303 R. This is intercept value. This is the slope value. That slope is negative value. That slope is negative value. If you draw a graph, that is log K equilibrium at y-axis and 1 by t on x-axis, that gives a straight line with a negative slope. The slope value is equal to delta H by 2.303 R and intercept value is equal to delta S naught by 2.303 R. If you draw a graph, see here, ln K equilibrium, just a minute. If you draw a graph, that is ln K equilibrium on y-axis, 1 by t on x-axis, c divided by this ln. ln means it is also a straight line with a negative slope. So it cuts the y-axis at one point. So slope is equal to delta H naught by R, just R, because it is ln. So intercept is equal to delta S naught by R. So please try to mind it. If it is ln, 2.303 is not there. If it is LOG, that is base 10. It is base 10. So there is 2.303 there. So number of times asked bit already today's exam, I think one bit is there. So he asked either slope or intercept value. And slope or intercept value. So this is intercept value, this is slope value. And so slope is negative, intercept has something positive value. So this is a way to find out the cases. And so this is very, very important formula. So if you draw a graph between log k equilibrium on y-axis and 1 by t on x-axis, slope is equal to delta s naught, slope is equal to delta h minus delta h naught by 2.303 r, and intercept is equal to delta s naught by 2.303 r. So you should mind these two formulas, these two values. And this is the slope value, this is intercept value. Did you catch my point, my dear boys? It is very, very important. So is this, did you understand the concepts? So if possible, try to take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, boys. It is very, very important. Okay. So these are some points towards your delta Z naught, that is Gibbs change in energy. So the most important application of this Gibbs change in energy is yes, Karthik, please wait. Okay. So finally, a conclusion to you. Gibbs free energy is introduced to explain the spontaneity of the process. That is the final conclusion. If delta Z is negative, that is less than 0, it is spontaneous. If it is greater than 0, it is non-spontaneous, which is equal to 0, that is at equilibrium. The reaction at the system is at equilibrium. Okay, so these are different conditions. These are different conditions. So for the delta Z cases. Okay, so this is about your Gibbs free energy. Now I am giving a problem based on this topic. So see here. For a reversible reaction, A reversible with B, delta S naught for the reaction is dash if log K to the base 10 is equal to 0.47 minus 2000 by T. So for a reversible reaction, delta A reversible with B, delta S naught for the reaction is how much? The given value log K is equal to 0.47 minus 2000 by T. Compare this equation with this relation. Compare that equation with this relation. So log K. So delta S naught by 2.303 R is equal to this much. So from this, delta S naught by 2.303 R is equal to 0.47. Next, at the same time, delta H naught by 2.303 R is equal to 2000. That's enough, 2000, because this is nothing much 2000 into 1 by T. This is 2000 is equal to this much value. Okay, yes, correct, Karthik. If you want to calculate delta S naught, use this relation. If you want to calculate delta H naught, say standard change in enthalpy, use this value. So in your question, how much is the delta S naught? No need of this one. I'm using this one. So now, so it is. I'm going to calculate. This is in joules. I'm going to calculate. This value is in joules. Apply the formula. Apply the formula. Therefore, delta S naught is equal to 0.47 into 2.303 into R. So in joules, R value in joules 8.314, which is equal to almost or equal to 9 and roughly it is 8.99 as the answer. So roughly it is 9 and answer. So it is the way. So my dear boys, in the morning, a problem based on this. Am I correct? Am I correct or wrong? Yes, Uday, correct? Morning, there is a problem on this. Did you solve this? Did you solve the problem? Yes, it is in joules. Why? Because I am calculating in joules. Okay. Next one, that is in our chemistry, we are using chemicals, not system. Generally, we are using chemicals. Delta Z naught values for different chemicals, we must remember. I will give some values towards delta Z naught. See here. Very, very important, boys. Note points. Delta Z naught formation, F means formation, is equal to 0. Very, very important, for see here, H plus ion, number of times asked bitra, for H plus ion, delta Z naught formation, F means formation of H plus ion ending. F means formation. F means formation. Formation of H plus ion is equal to 0. These are standard values you should remember. And also for elements, Cl2 formation, N2 formation, these are the elemental gases. N2 formation, O2 formation, helium formation, for all these gases. So their delta GF value is equal to 0. Try to remember it. Next, for a reaction, delta Z naught is equal to, for a reaction, delta Z naught, react means reactants converts into products. For a reaction, delta Z naught is equal to delta Z naught formation of products minus delta Z naught formation of reactants. If more reactants and more products are there, apply sigma cases and sum of all those values. So for a particular reaction, so delta Z naught is equal to sigma delta Z naught formation of products minus, so everywhere, whenever delta is used, delta means change value. Change means final minus initial. Anywhere, in our chemical, final is a product, initial means reactant. In chemistry, final is product, reactant is initial. Reactant is initial. For example, if you want to calculate delta H, enthalpy of products minus enthalpy of reactants, products minus reactant. If you want to calculate delta S, entropy of products minus entropy of reactants. If you want to calculate delta Z, delta Z of products minus delta Z of reactants. That is I'm using here. Okay, like this, anywhere we can use. So this is also very, very important. By using this, we can calculate a problem based on this topic. See here. Problem na? H2 gas plus Cl2 gas gives 2H plus aqueous ions plus 2Cl minus aqueous ions. Delta Z naught for this reaction is minus 262.4 kilojoules. Minus 262.4 kilojoules. Find delta Z naught F of Cl minus aqueous. Try yourself. Already all conditions are given to you. Just solve the problem. Delta Z naught F of Cl minus aqueous ion. For this, just now I completed the theory consistent. Just now I completed. Wrong boy. Yes, correct. Dheeraj, you are correct. Others wrong. Uday wrong. Dheeraj correct. Roshan, Aditya, all of you wrong. Wrong. Final point. I am giving delta Z naught F of Cl2 is equal to 0, but not Cl minus. But not Cl minus. It is for Cl2 only. Yes. Sidhu, you are correct. So one more also correct. I don't see the name. Harshit correct. Pashwat wrong. Ramchandra correct. Yes. See here. Delta Z naught for the reaction is given to you. Delta Z naught is nothing but delta Z formation of products minus delta Z formation of reactants. Sigma value. Sigma value. So this value is given to you. That value is minus 262.4 kilojoules is equal to products. That is 2 into, multiply with that number and 2 into delta Z naught of Cl minus plus, I am taking products minus 2 into delta Z naught of H plus ion minus, that is delta Z naught of H2 plus delta Z naught of Cl2. Just now I completed. This value is equal to 0. This value is equal to 0. This value is equal to 0. All those values are given to you because those are standard values. Therefore, minus 262.4 is equal to 2 into delta Z naught minus Cl minus N. Therefore, delta Z naught Cl minus is equal to minus 131.2 kilojoules. Minus 131.2 kilojoules. Okay, so this is the way to solve it. So H2, Cl2, O2, H2, Cl2, O2. So that is like this. Elemental form, delta Z naught is equal to 0. Okay, for hydrogen, H plus is the standard form. For hydrogen, H plus is the standard form. Not for H2. It is H plus. Those are arbitrarily taken as 0. Aditya. Arbitrarily taken as 0. Okay. Next one. I have one more problem. Fixed mass of an ideal gas confined in 10 liter sealed in rigid vessel, rigid vessel at 1 atmosphere at 1 atmosphere and heated from minus 73 degrees centigrade to 27 degrees centigrade. Calculate the change in Gibbs energy. Calculate the change in Gibbs energy given S is equal to 2 plus T by 100. S is equal to 2 plus T by 100. Now try to identify the concepts. We have the formula delta Z naught. Already yesterday we derived that one. Delta Z is equal to VdP minus TdSN. Sorry, SDT. This is the formula, user formula. VdP minus SDT. So formula already given to you. I'll try to solve the problem, my dear boys. It is dz, right? It is dz. For delta z is equal to integral vdp minus integral sdt. It is the formula. If possible, try it. So here change value is the pressure, that is P1 to P2. Here change value is the temperature, T1 to T2. T1 to T2. So see here, in your given problem, volume is given to you. Volume is given to you. V. Okay. Next. From at 1 atmosphere, which is P1 is given to you. It is T1 is given to you. T2 is given to you. S is given to you. So V given to you, dP, S, dt. Okay, calculate S. P1, P2, T1, T2, we must require. P1 is no doubt. We don't know P2 and we don't know P2, but it is an ideal gas, my dear boys. It is an ideal gas. So at constant volume and constant different conditions, so see here, for a given mass of gas, we have the formula P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. Pressure is constant, P1 is equal to P2. Therefore, V1 by T1 is equal to, pressure not constant, volume is constant. Sorry for that. Volume constant, that is why P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2. We know T1, T2, we know P1, we should calculate P2 value, use this P2 value here. That implies P1, how much is pressure? 1 atmosphere. T1, we must use Kelvin scale of temperature, 273 minus 73, it is 200 Kelvin. It is 273 plus 27, that is 300 Kelvin. That is T1 200 Kelvin is equal to P2, it is 300 Kelvin. That implies P2 is equal to 1.5. P2 is equal to 1.5 atmosphere. Therefore, delta Z is equal to delta Z is equal integral P1 to P2. P1 1, P2 value 1.5, V, volume is 10 dP plus, sorry, minus integral T1. T1 is 200 Kelvin. T1 is 200 Kelvin. T2 is 300 Kelvin. S value is this much. 2 plus T by 100 into dt. Now solve the problem. Apply integration. Solve the problem. Finally, you will get the answer. How much is the value? Tell me, my boys. Uday, a little wrong. Check once again. Almost there, but a little wrong value. Karthik, don't use my previous notes. I think I already sent this problem to you. Try to solve. Uday may be wrong. Wrong, Bashwant. Okay, see here, I'm doing. So delta Z is equal to, so 10 into dP, P2 minus P1, that is 0.5. So it is in liters, my dear boys, it is in atmosphere. It is a liter atmosphere is the value, but it is in joules minus. So integral 200 to 300, 2 into dt plus integral 200 to 300, that is, it is 1 by 100, T into dt, T into dt, that is equal to by 1050 liter atmosphere, 50 liter atmosphere, sorry, it is 5, not 50, 1 by 2, yes, 5 minus this value, dt. So 2 into T2 minus T1, 300 minus 200 plus 1 by 100 integral, this is T square by 2 only. So 200 to 300 and T square by 2. Yes, T square by 2. Therefore, I am applying integration, boys. It is not possible to explain that integration. How, sir? This is 5 liter atmosphere value minus, it is 300 minus 100, 200, that is, it is 200 plus 1 by 2, 1 by 100. So I'm once again, 1 by 2 is common. That is T square, 300 square minus 200 square. Upper limit minus lower limit. Upper limit minus lower limit. Okay. So this is equal to 5 liter atmosphere value minus, after final calculation, that I will give, the final value gives 450. Solve yourself, boys. So, but it is in liter atmosphere, it is in joules because all are in cases. So therefore, 1 liter atmosphere is equal to 100 joules. Therefore, it is 500 joules minus 450 joules, which is equal to 50 joules. So kilojoules, sorry. So that is in kilojoules. So here S value is in kilojoules. That's why I'm using this one also kilojoules. Kilojoules. And so this is the way to solve the problem, boys. This is the way to solve the problem. Yes, yes. So this is the way to solve the problem. Very, very important. So this is all about your Gibbs energy and its conditions. So whenever delta Z is negative, that should be spontaneous. Whenever delta Z is negative, that should be spontaneous. Okay. So next topic, that is third law of thermodynamics. Third law of thermodynamics. What is this third law of thermodynamics? So how can we complete, or how to, that is, already up to now, we completed first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, and also 0th law of thermodynamics. Okay, first law gives information about law of conservation of energy. So that means energy of the universe is always constant, but one form of energy is converted to another form. Second law, that gives entropy ending. Entropy of the universe always continues. Entropy of universe always continuously increases. So that means that is every naturally occurring process is irreversible. So like that. So these laws are extracted from our daily life, that is from our nature. All these are also applicable for bulk properties. So next, to explain absolute entropy, that is, this third law is designed. To explain absolute entropy, that third law is designed. Okay. So what is this third law, which is also called as Nernest heat theorem? Which is also called as Nernest heat theorem. It is for absolute entropy. It is for absolute entropy. Do you know entropy, my dear boys? Do you know entropy? What is entropy? In our simple words, entropy is nothing but randomness. More is the randomness, more is the entropy. More is the randomness, more is the entropy. Okay. So it is nothing but, okay, it is a degree of randomness, that is a disorderness. So let us consider, there are solids. In solids, atoms are closely packed. So almost randomness is less. This is solid, my dear boy. Randomness less. That means entropy also lessened. Not equal to 0, my dear boys. Entropy lessened, not equal to 0, because so these atoms are closely, if these atoms are closely arranged, but there is slight vibrations are there in atoms. Slight vibrations are there. Those vibrations give a little randomness. That little randomness creates something entropy and that's why it never goes to 0. It never goes to 0. Next, for liquids, so these are some randomness, entropy a little increase. So for gases, molecules are in gaseous state. So randomness is very high. So from left to right, entropy increases. Solid to liquid, liquid to gas, entropy increases. This is at room temperature, boys. This is all at room temperature. Now I am going to decrease the temperature of the system. I am going to decrease the temperature of the system. So up to which, sir? Up to which the value is going to be decreased? That is, from actually our room temperature is 25 degrees centigrade temperature. It is the room temperature. This is all at room temperature. Now I want to decrease the temperature from 25 degrees centigrade to minus 273 degrees centigrade. I'm going to decrease the temperature of the system is decreased from 25 degrees centigrade to minus 273 degrees centigrade. Minus 273 degrees centigrade. This temperature is called as in Kelvin square, that is 273 minus 273, which is equal to 0, that is 0 degrees Kelvin temperature. This temperature is called as 0 degrees Kelvin temperature. Okay, from room temperature to 0 Kelvin temperature, I am going to decrease the temperature of the system. I am going to decrease the temperature of the system. As the temperature decreases, the energy of the materials also decreases. Internal energy of the materials also decreases. As internal energy decreases, so automatically the kinetic energy decreases, potential energy decreases, automatically the vibrations, rotations of these atoms are all decreases. And finally temperature is going to be 0, means energy of the system going to be 0. Energy of the system going to be 0. That means, so almost there is no energy in the material. That means atoms are quite at a point, quite at a point. So at 0 degrees Kelvin, at 0 degrees centigrade Kelvin, so gas is first converted into liquid, liquid is converted into solid. No gaseous state exists. No gaseous state exists at this temperature, my dear. At this temperature, no gaseous state exists. So all those are converted into liquid state, and then this finally changes to solid state. In solid state, atoms are perfectly attached, perfectly arranged. No randomness, almost 0 randomness. So that means randomness is going to be 0 at absolute 0. At absolute. That particular crystalline material is called as perfect crystalline. That crystal is called as perfect. That solid is called as perfect solid. That is perfect crystalline material. Their randomness is almost 100% going to be 0. That means entropy of the system is equal to 0. Entropy of the system is equal to 0. Okay, that means at 0 Kelvin, entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solid is equal to 0. Entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solid is equal to 0. Okay, so this is very, very important, my dear boys. So that means entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solids is equal to 0. Is equal to 0 as temperature is equal to temperature tends to 0, as the temperature tends to 0. So this point is called as third law of thermodynamics. This is called as the third law of thermodynamics. What is third law of thermodynamics? The entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solid at absolute 0. Absolute 0. 0 Kelvin means absolute 0. So the entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solid at absolute 0 is equal to 0. As temperature is going to be 0, entropy also going to be 0 for a pure and perfect crystalline solid. Therefore, limit T tends to 0, entropy tends to 0 only. Limit T tends to 0, entropy tends to 0. So it is the mathematical form of third law of thermodynamics. Limit T tends to 0, entropy tends to 0. So T tends to 0 means the absolute temperature is going to be 0. 0 Kelvin means minus 270 degrees centigrade. At that temperature, no solid, no gaseous state, no liquid states are exist. Only pure and perfect crystalline solids. Those atoms are also perfectly ordered. Perfectly ordered. So that means no randomness is there. No randomness means no entropy is there. That means entropy is going to be 0. That means if you want to find out absolute entropy, so the temperature should reach it to minus 273 degrees Kelvin. Degrees centigrade. It is not possible, my dear boys. That means it is impossible to find out pure and perfect crystalline solid to reach the temperature minus 273. minus 273 degrees centigrade. Almost not possible, but so at that temperature it is going to be zero only. At that temperature it is going to be zero. Not only a single chemical entity. So almost all chemicals are going to be zero only. Almost all chemicals, whatever solids, liquids, gases, whatever it may be. So at 0 Kelvin are in solid state. Their atoms are going to be perfect order. Okay, automatically entropy is going to be zero only. Entropy is going to be zero. This is the third law of thermodynamics. But there are certain limitations. And so that means we expected at absolute zero, entropy of the material is going to be zero. This is a statement. That is the third law of statement. At absolute zero, entropy of the material, solid material, is equal to zero. It is a statement, but there are certain limitations. That means for glassy materials, glacious materials, that is semi-solids, generally we are taking. Some gaseous materials, entropy is not going to be zero, even at minus 273 degrees Kelvin, minus 273 degrees centigrade. We expected at minus 273 degrees centigrade, the entropy of whatever it may be the material is going to be zero. That state, that is nothing but our third law of thermodynamics. But there is a limitation. Glassy materials, glassy materials have entropy not equal to zero, even at 0 degrees Kelvin. It is the clearly is a violation of third law of thermodynamics. It is the violation of third law of thermodynamics. Next, some other chemicals, that is Cl2. Just a minute. So first limitation, first one, that is glassy solid, entropy greater than zero at 0 Kelvin. It is a violation. Okay. So there is an observed fact, my dear boy. These are all observed facts. Once again, I am repeating all these from observed facts. They observe like that. That means these materials doesn't follow our third law of thermodynamics. So that is it is taken as limitations. Why? Because we don't know. So that is the property of that material. Next one. That is solids having mixture of isotopes do not have zero entropy. At 0 Kelvin. It is not possible. So the best example, entropy of Cl2, which is solid form. Because at absolute zero, no gaseous state exists. All materials must be in solid phase. So it is not equal to zero at 0 Kelvin. It is observed fact. At 0 Kelvin, it is observed fact. Next, third point, third limitation. That is crystals of carbon monoxide, N2O, SO2, NO, H2O, etc. do not have perfect order. Means entropy greater than zero, not equal to zero. So these are some limitations, my boys. These are some limitations in Nernst heat theorem. There is nothing but third law of thermodynamics. Third law of thermodynamics. So very, very important. What is third law of thermodynamics? So the entropy of pure and perfect crystalline solid at absolute zero is equal to 0. No gases exist at absolute zero. All materials, whatever it may be, it is equal to, they are existed as a solid. They are exist as solids. Okay. So generally all those solids have, yes, no doubt you should remember. All those solids have orderly states. Most of the chemicals, 99.99%, all are in order. But some chemicals are not in order. That means entropy never going to be 0. That means these are the some limitations. These are the some limitations. So this third law of thermodynamics is useful to calculate absolute entropy of the material by using some formulae. So those formula I am writing here. Please see. So by using those, we will calculate some problems. That is, so these are some important points, my dear boys. At absolute zero, Cp minus Cv is equal to 0. It is observed case. So Cp, heat capacity of the gas at constant pressure, constant volume. So gas is not exist. Now what happened? Heat capacity is also not exist. That it becomes 0. Okay. Next, Cv at Cv at 0 Kelvin is calculated by using the formula Cv is equal to A power AT cube. AT cube. This is called as Debye's equation. DEBYE. Debye's equation. This equation is useful to calculate Cvn. If you calculate Cv, that is automatically equal to Cpn, because Cp minus Cv is equal to 0. So Debye's equation, Cv is equal to this equation. No need of derivation. Try to mind it. So Cv is equal to A T power 3n. A T power 3. This is the Debye's equation. No need of derivation. Once again, I am repeating. Cv is equal to A T power 3. That is Debye's equation. So that is the formula used to calculate Cv at absolute 0 degrees Kelvin. At this temperature only, not all temperatures. Next one. While calculating entropy, so entropy calculation generally at constant pressure. That is right. So delta S vaporization is equal to delta H vaporization by T and E. Generally we know. So delta H, because it is at constant pressure. This is because it is at constant pressure, that is equal to NCP dt by Tn. It is delta S vaporization. So this is, therefore delta S is equal to NCP integral dt by T, which is equal to NCP ln. So that is 1 by integral 1 by T and ln T and. So therefore 2.303 NCP log T. It is the formula used to calculate change in entropy. It is the formula used to calculate change in entropy, regularly using any. It is for entropy of vaporization. Entropy of vaporization, change in entropy of vaporization. Okay. So generally this third law of thermodynamics is used to calculate phase transitions. See here. Phase transitions. What are those phase transitions? That is here. See boys. I am going to convert ice. I am changing the pen. See boys. H2O in solid state at minus 10 degrees centigrade is changed to same H2O gaseous state at 120 degrees centigrade. Now I am going to calculate entropy during this process. Change in entropy. Change in entropy during this process. Listen carefully. There are number of problems based on this topic. From one temperature to another temperature, there is a phase change. There is phase change. So very, very important. See, my dear boys. So H2O is in liquid state. The same H2O that is in solid state, given solid state. And when temperature increases, first of all, change it to H2O liquid. H2O liquid, solid is changed to as temperature increases. Now it is at 0 degrees centigrade. It is at 0 degrees centigrade. At this temperature, so first of all, solid is formed. This solid is in equilibrium with H2O liquid, which is also at 0 degrees centigrade. Here, phase transitions applied. Up to 0 degrees centigrade, it is in solid phase. But at solid phase, solid change at 0 degrees centigrade, so solid changes to liquid state, some phase transitions take place. That is nothing but solid changes to liquid, melting is there, some fusion is there. That is why fusion temperature is applied. Fusion temperature. Now, entropy, water, now H2O is in liquid state at 0 degrees centigrade. So now up to H2O is changed to, temperature changed to 100 degrees centigrade, 0 degrees centigrade to 100 degrees centigrade. It is the boiling point of that particular liquid, my dear boy. At 100 degrees centigrade, so H2O exists in liquid state, but at 100 degrees centigrade, H2O is in vapor state. Same 100 degrees centigrade. H2O is in vapor state. Now there is vaporization takes place. So here delta H vaporization is used. Here for entropy calculation, delta H fusion is used. Then this 100 degrees centigrade gaseous H2O is changed to gas at the given temperature 120 degrees centigrade. Now I am moving minus 10 degrees centigrade to 100 degrees centigrade through these channels and through this conversion. So see boys, did you catch my point? So now I am going to convert minus 10 degrees centigrade to 120 degrees centigrade. Number of phase changes are occurring. Phase transitions are occurring. Okay. At boiling point, liquid and gas are in vapor, are in equilibrium. At freezing point or melting point, both solid and liquid are in equilibrium. Their phase transitions are applied. See here, it is generally now delta S is equal to, I am calculating, it is first step, it is the second step, it is the third step, it is the fourth step, it is the fifth step. So here delta S is equal to integral minus 10 degrees centigrade to, generally we are using absolute temperatures. So that is why I am using T1 to T freezing point. T1 to T freezing point. So for this conversion, so solid is solid. So we use Cp dt by Tn. It is the formula for this purpose. Here phase transitions are applied in plus here fusion is takes place, delta H fusion by, it is a freezing point, that is T freezing point. It is second point. Next, third point, liquid is there. This liquid transitions, that is, it is for solid. Integral. Now, 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade. 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade. So now it is, here also freezing point means we are taking 0 degree centigrade. But we are using Kelvin scale, my dear boys. For our understanding purpose, I am using degree centigrade values, but we are using Kelvin scale temperature values. 0 to 100 degree centigrade. Okay. So there is, so liquid is the liquid. There, Cp for liquid dt by T, the formula is used. It is for third one. Plus, so this one completed, this one completed, this one completed. Next, there is once again phase change. Plus, there is delta H vaporization by T boiling point. T boiling point. After that, this one completed. So once again, same gaseous state, that is plus integral 100 degree centigrade to 120 degree centigrade, that is Cp of gas dt by Tn. Okay, this is the formula generally you are using to calculate delta S of the material from one temperature to another temperature. From one temperature to another temperature. Number total. For example, if it is going to only liquid state, apply up to this one. For gaseous state, apply these cases also. So depending on situation, we can use the formula. So these are summation of all these entropies. It is solid, different temperature. This is the formula used for change in entropy. So this is the formula for phase transition standing. So entropy, because Q reversible by T, Q is equal to delta H vaporization. Therefore, delta H vaporization by T, T is the freezing point. It is also delta S already give. So these are the different cases. So very important, my dear boys. Very important. Okay. So please learn carefully. So total 5 steps are completed. So up to 0 and 0 to 0. Up to 100 and 100 to 100. So after that, final temperature. So this is very important to calculate entropy. All this only due from our third law of thermodynamics. So there is a problem based on this topic. So see here. Just a minute. See here, there is a problem. That is, calculate the entropy change accompanying the following change of state. The following change of state. H2O solid, which is minus 10 degrees centigrade, 1 atmosphere, change it to H2O liquid only, my dear boys. 10 degrees centigrade, 1 atmosphere. And here, Cp of ice is equal to 9 calorie degree inverse mole inverse. Cp of water is equal to 18 calorie degree inverse mole inverse. Latent heat of fusion of ice, that is delta H fusion, my dear boys. Latent heat of fusion of ice is equal to 1440 calorie mole inverse at 0 degrees centigrade. So this is the given data. So try to calculate based on your previous problem, previous formula. Here, solid to liquid only. Solid to liquid only. The conversion is H2O solid at minus 10 degrees centigrade means 273 minus 10 ra 263 Kelvin and 1 atmosphere pressure. So next change it to H2O solid 0 degrees centigrade means 273 Kelvin. It is in equilibrium with H2O liquid 0 degrees centigrade, that is 273 Kelvin. It is at 1 atmosphere. It is also at 1 atmosphere. It is delta H fusion, nothing but latent heat of fusion we are using. Next, this H2O liquid change to H2O liquid at 10 degrees centigrade. 10 degrees centigrade means 283 Kelvin, same 1 atmosphere pressure. Stop there. No gaseous conversion. Up to that one, he asked it. That means 1, 2, 3. 3 steps are completed. You should use 3 steps in. For first step, I am using delta S is equal to integral NCP dt by T. This is I am using. So from temperature T1 to T2 plus, it is first step. For second step, that is delta H fusion by T boiling point, freezing point. It is for second step, my dear boy, plus integral. So T2 to 3T, my it is T1 temperature, it is T2 temperature, it is T3 temperature. So T2 to T3, NCP dt by T. NCP dt by T. Apply the formula. NCP dt, that is nothing but number of times asked bit this one. Repeated bit repeated model. Please try to solve yourself, boys. This is delta S is equal to NCP log 2.303. I am using 2.303. 2.303 NCP log T2 by T1 plus this one delta H fusion by T freezing point plus 2.303 NCP. It is for solid, it is for liquid. Log, that is T2 to the T3 by T2. T3 by T2. Apply the values, which is equal to 2.303 N. How many moles of the gas is taken? So in the equation only 1 mole is taken. Here only 1 mole. That's why I am using 1 mole. Cp value solid. Cp value solid is 9 calories. 9 log T to the, that is 0 degree centigrade means 273 by minus 10 ra 263 plus, it is first point ra, first calculation. Delta H fusion ending. So delta H latent heat of fusion, that is 1440 by freezing point of one. This one is 273. It is the second case point, second point plus once again 2.303 N, that is N1 CP value for liquid ra. This is water, that is 18 log T3 ra. T3 means 283 by T2 ra, that is 273. Calculate yourself, finally you will get the answer. Calculate yourself, you will get the final answer. Okay. So finally, how much is the value? The final answer is, after calculation, 6.258 and 258 calorie degree inverse mole inverse. So this is the final answer. Please calculate, my dear boys. Logarithm values, everything. So in exams, these values you will give value. CP values. Kelvin or degree, both are same and no problem. Kelvin or degree centigrade, no problem. Okay.